Good morning, students. Today we will be starting with the second lesson in English. But before we do that, I would like you to look on the screen and the words displayed here. Words like please, sorry, excuse me, thank you, welcome. We all have come across these words and we know that they are known as magic words. Why? Definitely, because they create magic in any given situation. When you say please and ask someone to do something, they will definitely do it for you. When you hurt someone and say sorry, they will definitely be able to forgive you. And such is the magical effect of these words if we use them in our day to day lives. Today's lesson also talks about the use of one of these magic words, that is, please. So let us look at it in detail. The name of our lesson is On Saying Please by Alfred George Gardiner. About the author, Alfred George Gardiner lived from 1865 to 1946. He was born at Chelmsford in Essex in 1865. His essays were written under the pen name Alpha of the Plough. What is pen name? Pen name is adopted by an author and printed on the title page or byline of their works in place of their real name. A pen name may be used to make the author's name more distinctive or to disguise the author's gender or to distance the author from their other works. So his pen name was Alpha of the Plough. Now, what is the meaning of this pen name that he has used? Alpha is the brightest star in the constellation the Plough. So, Alfred George Gardiner has chosen Alpha of the Plough as his pen name. His essays are uniformly elegant, graceful, and humorous. Some of his best known writings include The Pillars of Society, Pebbles on the Shore, Many Furrows and Leaves in the Wind. His uniqueness lies in his ability to teach the basic truths of life in an easy and amusing manner. We will look at one of his essays, that is, on saying please, and how he's trying to teach the truth of life, that is, the use of these magic words in order to make our life peaceful and meaningful. Before you start the lesson, we have certain icebreakers here. List the words of courtesy that we use in our daily life. Discuss them with your partner and explain the purpose of using each. Words of courtesy. What is courtesy? Courtesy is showing of politeness in your attitude and your behavior towards others. So, when you behave in a particular manner with someone, what are those various words which will help you to be polite and courteous or polite and harmless to others? You may not hurt someone, but at the same time, you may tell them what you want to say in a polite manner. So, what are those words? You have to list them. Next activity is listed below are a few character traits of people. What are character traits? Character traits is a personality or characteristic or inherent value that someone has which they are unlikely to change. You have it in you and you cannot change it. And this personality characteristic helps you to become an individual that you are. Kindness and friendliness are few examples of characteristic traits. So here they have given you certain characteristic traits. You have to decide which ones are positive and which ones are negative. Then next activity talks about etiquettes and manners. We have definitely come across these two things. Etiquettes and manners help you to become a good individual, help you to become an individual who can surround himself with good people and good atmosphere by his good behavior. So they have given you certain incidences in your life, and from here you have to choose which ones are good etiquettes and good manners and which ones are not good to have. Let us begin with the lesson. The young liftman in a city office who threw a passenger out of his lift the other morning was fined for the offense, was undoubtedly in the wrong. Now this essay, that is On Saying Please by Alfred Gardiner. It deals with little but socially important incident from our day-to-day life. It tells us about the great value of politeness and mannerism. The author points out that bad manners are antisocial. Though bad manners are not considered criminal in the eyes of the law, the society always looks down upon the rude people. According to Gardiner, good manners and bad manners both are contagious. If bad manners of one person influences others and make them rude and ill-tempered, good manners of one person also affects others and make them polite and kind in turn. So here we see that the chapter or the essay starts with the person, that is a liftman, and he is fined for the offense, which is undoubtedly wrong. That is, it was a question of please. The complainant, the person who complained, entering the lift said top, and the lift man demanded top, please. And this concession being refused, he not only declined to comply with the instruction, but hurled the passenger out of the lift. This, of course, was carrying a comment on manner too far. Discourtesy is not a legal offense, and it does not accuse assault and battery. If a burglar breaks into my house and I knock him down, the law will acquit me. And if I am physically assaulted, it will permit me to retaliate with reasonable violence. It does this because the burglar and my assailant have broken quite definite commands of the law. But no legal system could attempt to legislate against bad manners or could sanction the use of violence against something which it does not itself recognize as a legally punishable offense. Now, let us see what the author is trying to tell here. The essay here begins with the author recounting an incident of a lift attendant who threw a passenger out of his lift. The problem was that why did he throw him out of the lift? Is because the passenger rather rudely demanded to be taken to the top floor. The liftman here had a very basic necessity. He just wanted him to be more polite and request with the use of the word please. Now, since the passenger refused to use this word, the liftman threw him out of the lift. Commenting on this incident here, Gardiner points out that the action of the liftman cannot be condoned. He thinks so because impoliteness is not considered to be legally punishable offense. You can just imagine any person, if he's impolite, if he had to be punished legally, then we all would be in the court every day. Because in a day's course, we definitely are impolite towards someone or the other. So here, Gardiner also is trying to tell us that impoliteness is not a legally punishable offense, and the person who entered the lift impolitely just said top, and he did not use the word please. He was not polite. Should a person use violence against a robber who has entered his house, or against anyone who has assaulted him, the law will side with him. The law will support him. This is because both robbery and assault are forbidden by the law. However, there can be no law against rude behavior. Why he says that? Because Gardiner feels that although we may feel sympathetic towards the liftman, we must agree that the law is right in not giving us the freedom to use violence against people whose manners or expressions we do not like. So here we cannot expect the law to punish everyone whose behavior we do not like. A person's any behavior, if it is not suitable for you, then that cannot be punished by law. You cannot take that person to the court. So here we see what Gardiner is trying to tell further. And our sympathy with the liftman, we must admit that the law is reasonable. It would never do if we were at liberty to box people's ears because we did not like their behavior, or the tone of their voices, or the scowl on their faces. Then if that happened, if we did not like people, just because they have raised their voice, or because they are are not behaving in a way that you want, they are using a very high tone to talk to you, they're not using proper language or proper tone while they're speaking to you, and if you have to box every person that you come across that way, then our fists would never be idle. We would be punching everyone and boxing everyone every moment, and the gutters of the city would run with blood all day. I may be as uncivil as I may please, and the law will protect me against violent retaliation. I may be a haughty or boorish person, and there is no penalty to pay except the penalty of being written down an ill mannered fellow. The law does not compel me to say please or to attune my voice to other people's sensibilities any more than it says that I shall not wax my moustache or dye my hair or wear ringlets round down my back. So here, Gardiner feels that although we feel sympathetic towards the liftman, but we must agree that the law is right in not giving us the freedom to use violence against people whose manners or expression we do not like. For if we were given such liberty, our hands would be always busy hitting people, and the drains of the city would run blood all the time. Here, the author says that the only penalty one has to pay for being rude or arrogant is that people will call him a rude fellow. So, if you're rude, the only thing that you will face is people commenting on your rude behavior. But will not be punished by law for being rude. The law, on the other hand, will protect rather than punish him. The legal system does not impose any restrictions on manners, just as it does not impose any restriction on one's personal appearance. So, behavior also is a personal attitude, it's a personal thing. So, you cannot force someone to behave in a particular manner just because you do not like his behavior. Everyone's behavior is their personal matter. All you can do is make that person realize that his behavior was rude or his behavior was harsh. The hurting of a person's feeling is not considered a case where the person who inflicts the hurt must be made to say sorry. Now, here further he says, it does not recognize the laceration of our feelings as a case for compensation. There is no allowance for moral and intellectual damages in these matters. So, when a person is rude to you, you may be morally disturbed or you may be intellectually disturbed, but there is no allowance, there is no compensation for that. All you can do is maybe to ask the person to say sorry or to apologize for what he did. But in other ways, you cannot punish him any further. This does not mean that the damages are negligible. Now, here the author also says that even though you cannot punish the person for behaving in a particular way, the damage that his behavior has caused is not negligible. It is definitely damaging. Why? Because it is probable that the liftman was much more acutely hurt by what he regarded as a slur upon his social standing. It was it was a kind of allegation, or it was an insult to his reputation as a liftman when this person who entered just said top and did not say top please. He also has a social standing, he also has a kind of respect that we must pay towards this person who is a liftman. So this behavior of this of the individual has caused an insult towards his social status than he would have been if he had a kick on the shins, for which he could have got a legal redress. Now, the author says, the pain of a kick on the shins soon passes away, but the pain of a wound to our self respect or our vanity. What is vanity? Vanity is our pride. May poison a whole day. If your self respect is hurt, if your pride is hurt, then your entire day will be poisoned, and you in turn will affect other people's day as well. I can imagine that liftman denied the relief of throwing the author of his wound out of the lift, brooding over the insult by the hour, and visiting his wife in the evening as the only way of restoring his equilibrium. For there are few things more catching than bad temper and bad manners. Now, here I would very well like to say the quote, that is, the The law has no provision for defending people from moral or intellectual damages inflicted by uncouth people. Despite this, however, Gardiner asserts that such damages are in no way negligible. The rude person's behavior towards the liftman must have seemed to the latter as an insult to his social position. This must hurt more than a kick on his shins because he may get the law to act against the one who has kicked him, and in any case, the pain of a kick soon passes away. But the wound caused to one's self respect, on the other hand, does not heal easily. Gardiner imagines the liftman must have brooded over the insult day, and how, upon returning home, he must have given vent to his anger upon his wife in the evening. And this way, bad manners easily infect people who come across it. So, here, my dear students, I would like you to ponder upon this lesson and think for your past days how you have been with your people around you, with your family, with your friends, how your behavior has affected them. Has your behavior hurt someone, or has your behavior made someone's day? And since today we are talking about this topic, I would like you to be mindful of the words that you use, of the tone that you use, because as the author says, our bad behavior and our good behavior is infectious. It will affect the people around you, and they, in fact, will they in turn will behave in that particular manner with the people that they will come across. So, you have to decide what kind of ripple effect you want to create. Do you want people to take the good vibes from you and pass it on, or do you want them to be hurt and they instead hurting someone else? With this, we will end the part 1 of this lesson. Please go through the meanings of the words given in this slide, in this video, and go through the lesson as well. Until then, stay home, stay safe.